All right, so this is actually a pretty good question right here. Let me make myself smaller. And here we go. I was reading through this problem in my last video, and I stopped the video because I was like, okay, actually, I think that this is a pretty good example of how those questions which I got on the online assessment were structured, because it's a story problem. You'll see, like, when we read this, it's not just the way that Leak Code normally gives you the problem, where it's just like, here, do this, and now you need to figure out which algorithm to use, and then while you're doing your algorithm, you need to decide, okay, well, what data structure would fit for this algorithm. It was more like this, where they give you like a story, and then you're trying to figure out, like, okay, well, what does the story mean and how do I apply it? So I saw this, I liked it, and so we're going to read through this, try to understand it, and get that practice in of not just solving the problem, but reading the problem to understand what you're supposed to do. So let's go. Whenever George asks, if I can even read. Whenever George asks Lily to hang out, she's busy doing homework. George wants to help her finish it faster, but he's in over his head. Can you help George understand Lily's homework so she can hang out with him? Okay, so first off, that entire paragraph gave no useful information whatsoever. Now, consider an array in distinct integers, okay? So we have a list with integers. We have an integer list, and there's n of them. That's all that is. Okay. George can swap two elements, okay? He can swap two elements of the array any number of times, okay? So in this list, I'm able to swap two elements, then swap two elements, then swap two elements, however many swaps I want to do. Now, does it say that the swaps have to be adjacent to each other? They should be able to be not close to each other. Can I, like, from the start of the list to the end of the list, I can swap those. From this right here, George can swap any two elements of the array any numbers of times. That indicates yes. It doesn't need to be right next to each other. Okay, now, an array is beautiful if the sum of, okay, this, I'll look into that later, among 0 is greater than I is greater than n is minimal. What? Okay, so let's look at this a little bit more and try to figure out what's going on here. An example is, or an array is beautiful, okay, so just some thing that they're calling beautiful. Okay, so that's probably the answer, is this is our target, what we're trying to search for. Okay, now if the sum of the absolute value of the neighbors in the array, of the difference of the neighbors of the array, so 0 to 1 minus them, 0 to 1 minus them. Now, do you sum up the entire thing? The sum of all of them, okay? Among, yeah, from 0 to n. So from the beginning to n elements is minimal. It's kind of like that equation. I guess this would be the whatever mathematics way to write it. The sum from I equals 0 to, oops, well, my hand, hold on a second. The sum from I equals 0 to n of the absolute value of array of I minus array of I minus 1. Okay, so like this is the camera is backwards, but you guys can see it, right? The sum from I equals 0 to n and forgot to close my absolute value. There we go. Kind of like that. Okay, so that's what this is saying right here. Okay, we understand that. Good. And we're trying to minimize that. We're trying to minimize that equation. Okay. Now, given the array, so we get an array, determine and return the minimum number of swaps that should be performed in order to make the array beautiful. Okay, so we need to return how many swaps we're going to do. So we're trying to minimize the number. So we need to minimize the number of swaps that we do to find the minimal sum. Okay. So now this array, one minimal array is, so what would this actually be? So I want each value to be closest to each other, right? Because if I think about this, if I have 1,000,001 and I subtract them, I get 999,999, okay, the big number. And then if I have 1, which is right next to it, subtracted with 500,000, okay, well now I get essentially 500,000. So I get 1.5 million. Now, if I rearrange things where it is kind of ordered, where 1 is closer to the 500,000, I get 500,000, and then I get 500,000 minus 1 million, so negative 500,000. So it's positive 500,000 because it's the absolute value. But 500,000 plus 500,000 is only 1 million. So you want the numbers which are closest in value to be closest to each other geographically in the array. So either sorted in increasing order or decreasing order. Okay. So when I said that, I was thinking, well, can I just do array.sort and then return that? But then I realized, wait, hold on, I need to, that's not the question. The question is how many swaps? Okay, so this is kind of the sorting algorithms, which I have not studied. So one minimal array is this, 3, 7, 12, 15. Yep, so see, they're in increasing order. Okay, George performed the following swaps. He went from here, so 7, 15, 12, 3 right there. So he put the 3 right there and the 7 right there. Then probably going to switch the 7 and 15. 7, 15, yep, okay. So what I need to do is okay. Seven and 15. So I think HackerRank is actually pretty good for online assessment preparation for multiple reasons. First off, it gives me a chance to catch a lot of my blind spots that I previously was completely unaware that I didn't quite know too much, right? Like in the last video, it was string manipulations because I didn't need to do that in LeetCode, so okay. And then when I'm using Python in normal development, again, I'm not printing things, so I don't do string manipulation. But now in HackerRank, they have questions that are related to string manipulation and printing things, etc. So it's different type of questions that allow me to catch a lot of my blind spots that I didn't previously know. And then also practicing how to analyze the problem and figure out what it's even asking, which is what was tripping me up in my interview, or online assessment, which was I couldn't even figure out what the question was asking, because I would read this and be, whoa, this is very different than what I'm used to. I'm used to whatever. Okay, if it loads, let's just pick a random one. It's a medium, right? I'm used to this format. So an in-bit gray sequence here, right? Every integer, right? It's very laid out. Given an integer n, return any valid in-bit gray code sequence. Okay, then I go and look at what a gray code sequence is. Then I go and do it, right? But this one, you have to kind of tease it out a little bit more. And then the other thing is, like, I realized this is actually, in the past, the previous videos I was doing, it was warm-up. And so this is actually the first problem that is not a warm-up. So it's an actual topic. Sorting. I never touched sorting in LeetCode. I think that they actually do have a sorting kind of, I think that is one of the things. If we look here, segment. Count sort, okay, but merge sort, okay, so they do have sorting, obviously, but it wasn't one of the things, or here, which is, I was using the NeetCode roadmap, which doesn't have sorting algorithms. So it gives me the ability to see other problem types that I previously was not focusing on because it wasn't right in front of me. So I like this HackerRank as a new avenue for me to explore to be able to improve myself. So anyways, all that to be said, I'm not exactly sure how I want to flip them. I remember I did one LeetCode question a long time ago with, it was like pancake sort or something like that, pancake swap, but that one I could only do the first, I could only like break it in two and like rearrange the entire array from the start to the index that I selected to kind of separate it, and then you reverse the order of all of them. So that's not really what this one is. This one is, I'm just reversing two. There has to be something about, like, I want to find the minimum and maximum value, right? Because this was, no, cause I want this 3 here to be in the front. But why did and it has to be here. So I guess that's why I chose 7 to go to the front. But then 7 doesn't actually belong here, so I needed to swap it again, and I did it with 15. So it's not immediately, yeah, it's not really coming to me. Do they have answers? Editorial? What's editorial? Requires unlocking. Okay, discussions. Do they have? Okay, so they obviously don't have as good of system as LeetCode does, because, for example, if I go to LeetCode and I get that problem again, I can just very easily just go to solutions. And okay, well, I think it was because I did, there we go. So I can just very easily go to solutions. I could go to Python or just go to the first one, and it'll have all sorts of solutions for how to do it. But here, it's obviously not as good laid out. I don't Okay. No one uses. Why would people use any other language other than Python? That doesn't make any sense. Leaderboard, submissions, problem. Okay. So the tabs are not very helpful. Swaps. So we're increasing swaps. We are int of corrected value. Okay. Is sorted of I. So we're going through I and increasing it. We're increasing I, okay? And then we say if array of I does not equal sorted of I, the sorted element, so somewhere in here it's probably sorted, here, okay? Then we need to swap it, and what are we gonna swap it with? So we're just swapping every time we find a misfit, okay? So corrected value is swap device. So that's the one that we're going. No, that's the one that we want to target, right? So we found the misfit and we want to find which value we need to swap it with. And then we swap. So now swap, okay, let's go back to the problem and try to do it. Wait, hold on, where's my editor? Here we go. Okay, so Lily's homework array here. So what do I want to do? I first want to find a sorted array. Array is equal to, why is there a little crown there? What's that mean? Oh, it's an error. Never mind. Array dot sort. Can I just go like that? Okay. Or is it sorted? I can't remember. Or is it sorted and then I need to pass in array? Like this. And then I pass that in there. I'm not sure which one is correct. I can't remember things just like off the top of my head like that. So it's one of those. Okay, so now what the person did was for I in range of array, length of array, I need to find the value that I want to replace, right? I need to find, like, is my array, is that index value the correct one? So if array indexed at I does not equal sorted array indexed at I, then what I need to do is increase the number of swaps. So swaps plus equals 1, okay? Swaps equals 0. Then I just need to actually swap those values. So I need to find I need to find the target that I'm looking for, because I need to swap that. But I don't want to iterate over my array that many times, because that's going to be n squared time complexity, so I don't like that. Is there some kind of like dictionary that I can use, like in the sorted? Okay, I don't know if this is the optimal way, so, but whatever. For element in array, I am going to store that element in, so my dictionary of element, and then I am going to say the index at which it occurs is equal to index. So enumerate this array, then I'm going to get the index and element, and then I'm going to create my dictionary. So is equal to, and HackerRank does not have default dictionary, so what was it? From collections import default dictionary. Okay. So now default dict, and we want this, the key is going to be an integer value, right? Because we're going to store the index. So we have that. Now what I can say is I know I'm going to look up in my dictionary where that value that I'm targeting is. Okay, so now I need to keep in my head straight. I found the misfit, which is here. Okay, so I'm going to say misfit is equal to array at I. So this is what I'm going to eventually replace with my target value. Okay, so I now am going to do what? I am going to take this value that I just found to be wrong. So array of I is going to equal the value it should be, which is sorted array indexed at I. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Now I need to replace, because I put the sorted value in my array. Now I need to find the other value that I just put in that misfit location. Hold on, I have my notebook. So if I have this array and it is like 2 and 9 right here. And let's say that I want to swap the 9 and the 2, right? So what I just did right here is I said in my array I'm taking this 9 and I'm going to put a 2 there, right? So this 9 now contains a 2, okay? But now I need to take that 2 right there and put a 9 in it. So I need to find where this index is. Luckily I have that in my dictionary. And then, but now I need to actually put the 9 there. And I stored 9 in this like misfits variable. So let's do that. Okay. So now I say array of what? Of the index at which I found what it should have been. That's the 9. So my dictionary indexed at the number it should have been, which is array indexed at I. Okay. Wait, no, I just changed that. Hold on. No, sorted array. So this is the value that it should have been, and this is going to return back to me the index at which it is, and then I want that to be equal to that misfit value. Misfit, okay? Like this. I'm going to keep doing this until I reach the end, and then I can return that number of swaps. So swaps. What do you think? This one might give me an error. I don't know if that's right. Let's see. Let's see what's up. Okay, so we did get an error. It does not like this. Okay, what? None type object is not. Okay. Is there a way to like stop it from autocomplete, like disable? Okay, there we go. Well, it's failing here, right? Is that what the error said? If array, okay. And it didn't like this here. So I think it is, oh, I think what happens is array gets sorted in place and it doesn't return back anything, which is not what I want. Okay, so does this, I don't want it to do it in place. I'm hoping that this, okay, well I didn't get an error. Okay. I just got wrong answer. Okay. Why and what is, why would it be wrong? I'm just gonna print out this, print sorted array, and then print array. Okay. Let's just see what happens. Just make sure that my values are correct. Okay, does it like not print anything? Output. Oh, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's correct. And then 3, 4, 2, 5, 1. Okay, that's correct as well. Let's just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then 2, 5, 3, 1. Okay, so we got that. So this is correct in terms of how we're trying to do it. But why is this not working? So this is index, yeah. Enumerate. So the other thing that I'm thinking about is during the online assessment or an interview, I get to this point, it's not working. Now, when I'm practicing, how much time do I dedicate to trying to troubleshoot it versus just going to GPT and actually asking it and being like, oh, there's my problem, right? Because I don't want to just be burning hours and hours troubleshooting, or just like, but I also don't want to just rely on GPT too much, because during the interview I'm just going to be kind of like in a bad situation, you know? So how would I even troubleshoot this? If this was like a real interview, how would I recover from this? If array, because right now I looked at the answer, so I kind of know the general idea of what I'm supposed to do, but I can't even, I think I kind of implemented it, but I can't even troubleshoot it, right? So, okay, well, there's kind of a problem as well. 我真的在想，是不是我从来不会进入了那种高科技的公司？唉，我真的不知道我是不是可以进入了。Okay, anyways. So what I'm going to try to do is just look at the most common areas which I think would cause me to come into an issue, which are off by one errors, maybe. So I have this swap. It starts at 0, and each time I find an element that is out of place, I do one swap, and so it goes from 0 to 1, which is correct. Okay, so I don't think I have an off by one error here. What's another common thing that might be the most likely candidate for a little error? I'm thinking like stuff like this, right? Because I'm doing a whole bunch of swaps here. Maybe I said something wrong. So let's try to look into that. Okay, so this one's okay, that's fine. Now, what I want to do is, let me come here, and I'm going to do array is equal to this, and I'm going to say we have 1, 2, 3, 9, I don't know, 5, 4, and 6. Okay. Now, obviously, I want to do this 9 right here, so I'm going to do like this 9, and I want to swap it with this 4. Okay. So these are kind of my two targets right there. So now I'm just going to walk through this and see what's going on. So I have misfit, which is going to be equal to array at index I. So this is here. So this should equal 9, right? Okay. And let's make sure that it does equal 9. So I'm iterating through, and the first instance that my array, or as I'm going through, I'm going to be going through and making sure that that element is equal to the element in my dictionary. Okay? So now I have this 9, so yeah, this should be equal to 9. Now I'm going to say arrays at index I, which is right here, is going to be equal to sorted at I. Now sorted at I is going to be that 4 value. So it's just going to be that 4. So now I'm going to change this and just say 4. Okay? So now we've come here, we got that. And now I say array here, indexed at my dictionary. Okay? Let's come in for the inner brackets first. So I say sorted at I is going to evaluate to 4. Okay? Just like it did right there. Now that 4 is the key to my dictionary, and the value is going to be the index. Okay, so this gives me the index at which 4 lives, which is right here, which is 0 indexed. Okay, yes. So now I change this value to be misfit, which is 9. So I swapped the 4 and the 9. And then I come back up and I see that the 4 is in play, or sorry, the 5 is in place, and then I would need to swap these. I increased my swap by 1, which is correct. Okay, so from my perspective, I think it's correct. I can't find my error. I don't know why it's wrong. And I'm also noticing like it does look off by 1. Okay, no, this one's off by many. So I need to think about, why was I unable to even troubleshoot this? That's concerning, right? Do I need to figure out a way to more efficiently walk through my code? Okay, so do that. We'll see what the error actually was, and then try to analyze how we can avoid that in the future. Okay. In place mutation without updating the index map. So you're swapping elements in array, but not my dictionary, which maps values to their indices. But I do want to iterate through the array, right? Because I care about this. Only checking one sort direction. Sorting in ascending order, sorting in descending order. Return the minimum number of swaps needed. Okay, so I need to do this twice. Is this even accurate? So Lily's homework. Okay. Before I go and try to study something that I don't even know is correct, let's see if it's correct. Okay, what? Yeah, there we go. Okay, fine. So we failed on all accounts. No, we didn't fail on all accounts. We were able to understand the problem, right? We were able to read it and understand the problem, but I wasn't able to figure out the solution to it. So I had to go look at the answer. Then I wasn't able to correctly implement that answer. And I wasn't able to troubleshoot it. So we failed on everything. Okay. So I get this part. Okay, fine, that's whatever. Here. Update my map. Array copy is so I think I see what's going on. So in my implementation here, when I changed it right there, right here, I'm not actually updating my dictionary to say that 9 now lives right here. Because it used to live right there, and now it lives here. Okay, so I need to update that. The other thing that I need to do is I need to do going up, increasing and decreasing. Lily's homework. So what's going on here? Index map is value, yeah, and then index for index value in enumerate. Okay, so that makes sense. I'm just creating a copy of the array from the start to the end, okay? And then I will do the same thing, right? I'm not sure if it's the exact same thing. Now, I can do sorted and then reverse equals true. Okay. So let's kind of get rid of this right here and then try to do it again. Okay. All right, so this is now going to change because we're going to have Lily's homework. It's going to be something else. I'm going to do def find swaps, something like this, and then I'm going to pass in my array here. Maybe. So now I need to pass in the, okay, ascending is equal to array, or was it sorted array? I can't. Descending is equal to sorted array, and then equals false. I can't. Okay, fine. Reverse equals true. So then we just return the minimum of find swaps of this ascending, then find swaps of descending. Okay. Now I need to actually do it here, and then let's see, do I just need to update my dictionary? Maybe? I don't know. So my dictionary indexed at, and I want this value, right? Sorted array of I, okay. No, that's gonna be that. Well, I don't know. What am I even trying to do right now? I'm trying to update my dictionary to say that this letter right here, this 9, this key value, so key is now at this value, which is index, is equal to what? Where I swapped it with, right? Which is like, I don't know if you can even do like a recursive, not recursive, but like, so I want the index, which this will return back that, no, I want the new index, which the new index is going to be where, yeah, where this, the one that I used to do, okay. But now I did this new misfit value. Misfit? I think this is right. I don't know. I have no idea. Na haba. Just where is it? I don't know. Resorts input array, which is already sorted. Okay, let's see. In here, Lily's homework, file this in here. Sorted array is not defined. So it breaks. So I can't do that. I don't know, man. It's not equal to the corrected value, then I How long have I been doing leak code? Oldest. Let's see. When did I start doing leak code? Python here. 9 months ago. These are like tutorials that I was doing. This whatever. This is when I started doing leak code. 9 months ago. 9 months ago, and I'm still this bad. Awesome. Man, I feel like I'm just wasting my time. I'm never going to be able to get into Fang or any of those like top tier companies. I don't just mean like Facebook, Amazon, Google. I mean like whatever, TikTok, Google, Facebook, Amazon, any of those like top tier tech companies. I'm just wasting my fucking time. Dude, 9 months. 9 months. I've just been burning every single day, wasting so much time doing leak code and projects and all of the, and there's like, what, 3 jobs available in software engineering? Bro. Okay, anyways. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave the video off here. Subscribe if you want to. And goodbye. Yeah. Yes, subscribe if you want to. My name is Timothy Lee Grant. I will see you guys later, I guess. Bye.